But who knows? Maybe not. Alan, wake up! As the rain poured down, several GDS men walked up the outdoor staircase of a beat-up Chinatown apartment building, hiding the sound of their footsteps. Communicating only with hand signs, they cautiously approached a certain room. After watching this unheeding of the rain, Xiaolon scrambled up the outer wall. This was neither City 23 nor City 22. It was City 12, which lay at the opposite end of Tokyo. It was an old Setagaya city. It was a dull and uninteresting concrete housing area where poor laborers were packed into city apartments, or buildings. Are you sure it's the one above here? Fool, he's trapped like a rat. Okay, make absolutely sure he doesn't get away. And you mustn't kill him either. He's the one who wrote those ill-filled letters. Lie-filled letters. We're going to get him to spill the name of the person who hired him. The person these GDS men were trying to capture was a forger. In this area, a single piece of paper could earn you a drastically different treatment. Skilled forgers were in great demand. As long as they received money, they would accept any request for forged documents. However, they weren't fools. They normally didn't engage in forgeries where their life might be in danger if the forgery got found out. However, reckless people can be found anywhere. There was a certain man who had been tasked by someone with an incredibly dangerous task of forging letters that would frame the GDS. This dude's probably dead. That man's name was Jin Wengyong. He assisted in fraud cases. He assisted in a fraud case targeting GHQ high officials. Since there had been some disagreements over how to divide up the money, he wanted to leave Japan. Apparently, he had accepted this last reckless job in exchange for a massive sum of money. Perhaps he was still in Tokyo because he hadn't yet been fully paid for his work. The GDS didn't care about his needs. They needed to capture him as soon as possible and make him confess about those secret letters. There was a man there who seemed to be a bodyguard. Yeah. Looks like Jin was aware the job he accepted was a dangerous one. Xiaolon quietly scouted out the scene, peering through the gap in the eaves of the roof. Then she spotted a second bodyguard, communicated that fact to her allies with the gesture. The moment we rush in, get them from behind, Xiaolon. Okay, here we go! Who the hell are you? Where do you crawl out from? Don't take this personally, boy. We are Chinese now. Oh my god. That one was pretty cool. Roadbots, they're after us! I won't let you escape. This dude's about to fucking get sniped in the throat. Nice. I fucking hit that. Nice. There's more fighting because it didn't end. Damn it. I've got no time for small fry. We got business with your employer. The door's locked. Hey, hand over the key. Don't got a clue where the key is. Give it up already, you bastard. I'll try going in through around the window. Before she even finished talking, Xiaolon was scaling the wet outer walls like a monkey. Thought she was a low brat, but she's incredibly useful. Of course the boss trained her in assassin techniques from the ground up. You bad-mouthing Lee, she'll hear everything and tattle on you. Give me a break, huh? Please. She went along the outer wall, turned the corner, and found a window as expected. The disturbance outside must have reached the ears of the target in that room. The target, Jin, might have been reckless enough to dream of getting rich quick, but he wasn't a fighter. By now, he was probably grasping a gun or something, shaking beneath the desk. Even so, she couldn't afford to get shot the moment she closed in. Xiaolon cautiously approached the window, trying to look inside. She couldn't pick up any sounds or signs of life, much less voices. However, she quickly noticed that something was strange. The glass window had cracks in it like a spiderweb. She immediately realized that a bullet had caused this. Yeah, dude got shot. Xiaolon realized something, violently smashed the glass and jumped inside. The bodyguards in the sense were hired there to end up killing him in case someone came for him. 1 billion%. It was pitch black inside. Rainwater dripped down the wall inside the broken window. They hadn't heard a gunshot. The glass must have been broken for some time. With a crash of thunder, the room was lit up for just an instant. There was a man lying on the floor, shot through the head. Damn it. They probably did this to silence him. It's been several hours since he died. They got to him first. Look for the clues, doesn't matter what. Find us some proof that this bastard faked those letters to frame us. They got rid of everything. He got information saying he was waiting for someone to receive his payment. That must have been the mastermind. Gotta find a clue pointing to him no matter what. The men started violently rummaging about the room. However, Xiaolon's eyes were pointed out the window. Considering the man's height, the position of the bullet hole in the window, the sniper must have targeted him from the roof of that building across from them. Xiaolon leapt out the window and traveling from rooftop to rooftop, headed through the rain towards the possible sniping location. Of course, there was no trace of anyone there. The pouring rain had washed away the footsteps, scents, and traces that must have been left there. This was a perfect position for which to snipe at that room. It wasn't that far away. No one trained to use a sniper rifle would miss it at that range. Jin had probably been summoned to that room to receive his payment. It had surely been a death trap to seal his lips forever. However, this wasn't an unprecedented turn of events. Jin must have known how dangerous his forgeries had been. He must have known there was a danger of his employer coming to silence him, to say nothing to the GDS. Normally, people taking on such a dangerous job wouldn't accept payment after the fact. See, if I was doing something like that, I'd have, like, something to be like, if you kill me, it's gonna get out. Like, if someone finds me, they're gonna know it was you. Like, fucking, like, scarred onto your body or something where they don't know. So when someone looks at you, they'll be like, oh, this person did it. They would probably get paid in advance, leave behind nothing but the finished product, and vanish into the shadows. But Jin hadn't done this. Why? Was it because he'd realized how dangerous his forgeries were? That was impossible. They had contained plans hadn't realized. They contained plans by the GDS and Bajong to assassinate Primavera's VIPs. It was hard to imagine that the very person who forged them not understanding how dangerous they were. And why? Was it dangerous because was he was sure that his employer wouldn't betray him? You're never guaranteed that, at all. You're doing something illegal. It's never a guarantee that you're not going to get betrayed. You should always assume you'll get betrayed. It was hard for Xiaolon to reason it out any further in her head. She couldn't imagine it. Couldn't imagine that the one who would request an officer of the occupying forces. Jin had been sure he would receive his payment because it was coming from an occupying forces officer, one of those who controlled Japan. Gabriel's skill with words had ensnared Jin. He had toyed with him using sweet words, saying he would soon have a much larger job waiting for him if he performed this one well. What a moron. So Jin had believed him, enticed by the massive reward and prospect of an even bigger job. He trusted the position of a public officer in the occupying forces. Moron. Thanks. Still a deer. I will just be a deer for the rest of my life. Pardon me, it seems that forger has been dealt with. Ah, good work. I thank you for doing a good job. That should eliminate the final element that might cast doubt on those letters. You look like you think you've got the whole world dancing on the palm of your hand. Did you ever doubt that an orchestra would follow its musical score? You can be so amusing, Phil. So you're as self-conceited as all the heavens and the earth. Of course, I'm not so full of myself as that. Everything's only gone so well because I've had all of you to assist me. You and all the others, such as that poor Chinese forger. You're saying, above all, heaven is on your side? Do you know what tomorrow is? It was October 28th, a Friday. To most people, it would be an average, meaningless day, but Butler quickly remembered. Of course, Butler would never forget a date like that. Normally, he would be thoroughly prepared for it. Or at least he would have if that incident had never taken place. And if this Gabriel was not the man he was. It's your birthday, sir. You have a reputation for preparing truly considerate surprises for your superior officers' birthdays, do you not? So I'm slightly looking forward to what sort of surprise you have for me. Well, after all, I could hardly match up to your surprises, Major. True. It's not as though I'm asking you for a birthday present. Ever since I was a child, I never asked to receive what I wanted as a present. I also always obtained it for myself. In other words, an extraordinarily lucky day has come for me. So I wanted to mention how good my luck is right now. Glad to hear it. Just now I received word from a friend working in information. He said he'd finish writing up the result of an expert opinion that would convince Richard. He's going to bring it here tomorrow. I was rather forceful about it. I've decided that he should participate in the farce as well. Phil, contact Richard and tell him to come here tomorrow at noon. And tell him that we have a very interesting result of our investigation to show him. Wonder if Richard will dance to your tune. Of course. Richard's a moron. Ever since that incident, Richard's mind and body have been pushed to the breaking point. As in, he's a moron in the sense that he isn't thinking in a right sense of mind. Obviously, I think it's natural to be a moron in this situation and let emotion guide you because you're only thinking about revenge. But shit sucks. Thanks to the layers he had been shown the other day, his head had been thoroughly burned by the swirling magma of anger and revenge. When this analysis results from information became the last straw proving guilt, Richard would fall. The last thread holding its heart in place would be cut, and he would be thrown out into the wilds like the madhound thirsting for revenge. Oh, he will dance. After all, tomorrow is my lucky day. You can be sure that fate will summon a tailwind pushing in my direction. Which would mean that it isn't your lucky day yet. Besides the elimination of the forger, we received one further report. This one's probably an unfavorable wind, I think. Oh, so there was good news and bad news. Let us have it then. What is this bad news for me? We've heard that Yuji's condition has miraculously improved. What? Kill the baby! With a squealing and brakes, a luxury car stopped in front of the hospital. Out of it flew Richard and his guards. The guards wore tense expressions, but Richard's face was bright and cheery in contrast. Kill that fucking baby! Strangle it! Because what it does, it will put Richard into a mindset that he's going to feel better. Which is really bad for them. Because they need him to be emotional and really out of it. Which is good. Some good shit happening. Richard dashed between the solemnly bowing guards, lining the hallway near a special hospital room. Where's my fucking dead baby jokes? This kid's dead. There's no way. Oh, Keith, is it true that Yuji regained consciousness? The nurse said he opened his eyes for a bit and responded by blinking. Oh, wonderful. Oh, God. Richard, here's that doctor. Oh, Yugi, please be quiet. He's sleeping again. I won't make noise. Might I at least have a look at his face? Like, this is 100%. Because what's going to happen is the kid's going to die when he's there. Or very recently. Or he's going to be dead when he gets there. Because this is all it's going to be. It's like, oh my God, now you know how I feel when I found my sister when she died in the hospital. It's so dumb. Why would you have this baby here? If you're gonna hide Rose, at least hide the baby. Please, doctor. Understand, 5 minutes only. Then if you're just going to have a look at his face, you have my approval. You have my gratitude, doctor. You guys wait here. We don't want everyone trampling about in there. Yes, boss. Keith had already left battalion and was working directly with Richard. At the moment, he was being treated as the de facto boss in charge of guarding Yuji, and had been given subordinates for this task. Ever since that incident, he had borne several heavy burdens. Though his slightly mocking style of speech hadn't changed, he had now gained an aura that no one could deny. The two of them were led to the hospital room. The special hospital room looked like a child's room, lined with toys Yuji loves, which Keith had brought in. You brought all of this in. I wanted to lessen the shock for Yuji as much as possible whenever he woke. Perhaps your efforts were successful. The memories of fun times that permeate these toys have summoned Yuji's soul back to us. Yuji slept on the bed, surrounded by various medical devices and several tubes connected them to him. It's pitiful to see a baby that ought to have died be bound just barely to this world thanks to the machines. But even so, he had woken up. Yuji's conditions, which had seemed hopeless at first, was now showing signs of a miraculous recovery. The mere fact that he'd regained consciousness for a little bit after hovering on the edge of death for so long could be considered a miracle. I didn't do anything major. I'm sure Stella kept him safe. Yes, that must be true. It truly is a miracle. A miracle brought about by the power of Yuji's desire to live. Can you save him, Doctor? I can't make a prediction yet, but his stamina is recovering satisfactorily. However, the arm that was shot, it's only an arm. That's a cheap price to pay for his life. Even if he's missing an arm, I'll care for him as long as I live, and see to it that he isn't inconvenienced. Keith dies. I should never run dressed like this. My skirt didn't get flipped up, did it? Hey, Mero, you came. You must have had so many customers waiting for you. I'm glad you made it. You know, I am one of Primavera's big execs, right? We're talking about Yuji, a boy who might affect the fate of Primavera. Of course I'd come running. Right now, Primavera had become a demon, or a Buddha due to a single word from Richard. Could become. Would this decision be made calmly or emotionally? Yuji's condition held the key. Emotionally. So is it true that Yuji woke up? Because even if Yuji survives, it's still an emotional decision. Because it's still based on Yuji being alive that he's making said decision. Yeah, just once. They say he blinked. Is that a good sign? Are they out of the rough patch? Going to the doctor is a miraculous recovery. I see. Thank goodness. Meryl crouched down as though the energy had been drained out of her, and she sighed deeply. And with that, Primavera's also gotten past its roughest patch, right? Yeah. With this, Richard would regain some sense of composure. No matter how they ended up taking their revenge against the GDS, he wouldn't let his temper get in the way. No matter how well they showed the justness of their cause with proof, a blind all-out war would deal them massive losses. Taking revenge for murdered family is the one just right provided by the unwritten rules of the criminal underworld. If they could show proof, the bosses of families of neighboring cities would probably acknowledge Primavera's revenge, offering their support and understanding. If they buried Sun Zilong's moats, they could drag him to the negotiating tables. After that, they would want to manually, calmly, and intellectually pushing the blame to maneuver calmly and intellectually, pushing the blame for this incident on Lee alone. And when they agreed to let Zilong use Lee as a lizard's tail, they could ask for major concessions and call it a major victory. That would probably make for the most profitable revenge from Primavera's side. However, that would be difficult if Richard remained a slave to his emotions. At any rate, we've avoided getting covered in a shower of blood again. After all, Stella would never have wanted that. That's right, whenever she struck back at someone, she always did it in a sly way that ended up profiting her. And if Richard can just regain his composure, and even if Rose retires, Primavera will hold together. Yeah, with this I'm finally relieved too, for the time being. But even if Madame Rose does retire, I'd like to have a proper ceremony for his succession. Yeah. If we can settle this case with Rose and Richard, this might be a good chance for Rose to retire. Might be. I still can't believe she's worked so hard for this long. Well, anyway, Yuji's worked hard. Now we need Madame Rose to hang in there and recover too. Yeah. I hope our next bit of good news is Rose's recovery. Which hospital was Rose taken to? Well, I guess it's a secret though. Sorry, she was taken pretty far away. Somewhere pretty far away. However, it's a well-fitted hospital and she's receiving the best treatment possible. With the best guard by her side, of course. I mean, I feel like we should have taken Yuji there too. Fuck it. Then that's a load off my mind. Pardon me, Grand Boss. We received a message from Captain Butler requesting that we meet at him at Occupying Forces HQ tomorrow. Did they get the result from their analysis of those letters? Captain said to say that a truly interesting result came back. That's a mean way to put it. Couldn't he just say if they were fake or not? Alright then. Anyway, we don't need to worry now. Right now, Richard should be able to making a calm decision. The thing is, if Cyrus can recognize that he's not in the right state of fucking mind, he would deny the meeting in the first place. Just act like that request never came in. If he understands that Richard's so on edge like that and is going to make a bad decision. Holy shit. Dude, what's wrong with you? Like, he should be the rock that says no. That's what a good friend here would do. Not just let it continue and spiral out of control. Because you shouldn't base, like, if you're going to, like, worry about if everyone's gonna fucking die in a war, if a baby lives or not. Dude. Oh, on this most anxious of nights, the day before the culprit's identity is revealed, Yuji miraculously recovered. It's gotta be Stella protecting us. Yeah, no doubt about it. In that case, we'll have to ask Stella in heaven to do a bit more work and give Rose a miracle too. A gruesome incident in Stella's death. It was such a shocking case, but Primavera was managing to somehow remain calm. Is that true? Young Yuji has, without a doubt. Yes. They say his condition improved miraculously. They checked with several nurses. I checked too. Even Richard was ecstatic, calling it a miraculous recovery. I see. Then this is good news. To Lee, Yuji's condition recovering was good news. Though there was no chance of his arm recovering, he had supposedly held on to life. I see. Even if something happens to Madame Rose, as long as young Yuji is safe, Richard should have make a clear-headed decision. Bridget isn't fooled by Jin's forgery, but... Richard is a moneylender. He had gained wealth by making deals with our countrymen. As long as he has regained his composure, I'm certain he'll see through the forgery. But even so, they only shifts us from black to gray. It'll probably require a lot of time and effort to regain our former friendship, or relationship. But even so, this is news worth celebrating. The incident had been like a massive gust of unfavorable wind to the GDS. However, high tides eventually lower, and a silver moon always becomes full again. A sliver of the moon? A sliver of the moon. The relationship between the GDS and Primavera would remain as explosive as always. However, this was surely a sign that it would become possible to have a dialogue again. And for some reason, that wasn't the only bit of good news. Somebody wake up the doctor! Alan is... Oh, yes, I'm happy. Smiles. Now the baby can die. Yuki dashed through the hallway, looking flustered. She was panicked, as though Alan's condition had suddenly worsened, but her face suggested something different. Wake the doctor. What is it, Yuki? Alan, his eyes! When they dashed into the room, Alan was laying on the bed, his eyes slightly open. He must have been swimming in an ocean of nightmares. His whole face was covered in sweat. However, when he saw Yuki, the corner of his mouth rose weakly, forming a smile. Same, king. Alan, do you recognize me? Do you recognize me? No words came out, but it felt as though he was trying hard to answer Yuki. Before long, the doctor clambered in. Then he took Alan's pulse and measured his temperature, hurriedly checking Alan's condition in various ways. What's Alan's condition, doctor? Nothing's wrong. I'm surprised he made it back alive. Thank goodness. Alan! Hey now, Yuki, that's a bit bold when everyone's looking. Alan had clearly spoken. He took on his usual tone, but the words were slightly slurred. However, you could feel the powerful glint in his eye, the kind only held by people with a strong will to live. He complained of being hungry and boldly asked for a hamburger. I didn't know what else I want to eat. Of course, they turned it down. But when they said he could eat as much rice porridge as he liked, he laughed when his wild stomach rumbled. Yuki quickly ordered a whole pot of Chinese porridge from a nearby store. By the time that hunger incident inducing scent came drifting in, Alan had changed clothes and had even recovered enough energy to worry about his personal appearance. The porridge isn't going anywhere. Try to eat a little more calmly. Oh, it's going somewhere. Thank you. You eat like a beast brawler. Though he slept for several days, he has nothing to eat. It's only natural. Did I really sleep for that long? That's right. Today is Thursday, October 27th. Can you tell the time? It's already night. Thursday? Wait, seriously? I slept for 4 whole days? How do you feel? Does it hurt anywhere? My skin feels stiff, but it doesn't hurt at all. Did they use one of those secret 1,000-year-old Chinese recipes? Yeah, something like that. At the word Chinese, Yuki's smile darkened a little. Even Alan had probably starting to realize that she was actually Chinese. Don't worry. I have a thing for Chinese girls. Alan, stop it. I'm sorry, Alan. I wasn't exactly tricking you. There's nothing to apologize for. If anything, I'm impressed. Impressed? After all, you spoke Japanese so well, even a Japanese man like me didn't think it was strange. That's because you weren't thinking about her voice. Or her words. I'm impressed. You're as talented as I knew you were. I was sure you'd distance yourself from me when you heard I was Chinese. I love you, Yuki. I didn't fall in love because you're Japanese. And anyway, I'm the one who has to apologize to you. For what? I'm not the normal man you think I am. I'm one of those mafia guys you hate. You know Primavera, right? I've got a violent job there. A violent job that you would never respect me for. I kept quiet too, thinking that if you ever found out, you'd never meet with me again. Alan is a Primavera underling. When a fight breaks out in a bar, he intervenes, and he sometimes has to force customers to leave. When that happened, fists tend to fly. Alan had survived such a large gunfight on his own. There's no way he was a normal person. Yeah, no shit. And he had a fucking gun. I mean, that's what's more important here. Lee had probably investigated him at once. And he must have learned Alan's identity. However, Lee hadn't mentioned it in front of his sister yet. Alan realized that his thoughtfulness meant he owed Lee big time. In other words, you're a bar bodyguard. I figured it was something like that. I guessed that when I first saw your worn fist. But I understand that you get drunks to leave so the other customers can have a good time. People like me don't like seeing those things as ugly as drunk customers fighting each other. Yeah, that's not all I do. But because we have someone around to do that dirty job, we're able to enjoy ourselves there. Oh, but don't get the wrong idea. Brother's job is another matter. I'll accept your job, but that doesn't mean I accept what my brother does. My. Alan, let me introduce you again. This is my big brother, Lee Maiju. I doubt there's anyone in Primavera who doesn't know about you. I have no intention of accepting your relationship with my sister, but you have my gratitude with regards to the recent incident. However, I hope you don't forget the favor I've done for you. Sheesh, you drive a hard bargain. In truth, I would like to have a long conversation, just the two of us, but the current situation that's tense. What Alan needs to do is go over to Primavera and be like, yo, the GDS fucking saved my life. Holy fuck. That would be good. Because it also would add, like, oh wait, what the fuck? Why would they help Alan? It would help. It would also take Keith off edge. During the 4 days you slept, the situation between your group and ours has changed drastically. Well, Japan's whole world changed in a single day when the disaster hit. I've been out for 4 whole days. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me the moon got cut in half. Lee and Yuki told Alan about what happened between the GDS and Primavera during these 4 days. That Madame Rose had been shot and no one knew if she was alive or dead. That one of Primavera's major execs, Stella Mayugi, was dead. That Eugene Mayugi, those syllables are way too fucking similar, who's practically her and Richard's son, had been terribly injured. That's kind of weird to say that between sister and brother. And that rumors were going around claiming that the GDS was behind it all. And also that the shock of all this had made Richard lose his ability to make calm decisions, which might spark a revenge feud. However, tonight we received 2 bits of good news. The first is that young Yuji has shown a miraculous recovery. Consiglieri's kid, huh? I think I remember hearing that Keith played with him a lot. Indeed. That is the second bit of good fortune. Your partner Keith has been selected to serve at Richard's side. It should be possible for you to go through Keith and speak with Richard directly. Keith. I want you to aid us in solving this misunderstanding. I'll give you a handwritten letter from me. I ask that you hand it to Richard directly. And if possible, I'd like you to tell him from your own lips that the GDS doesn't want a feud. Brother, Alan only just got better. Wait until he's gotten his strength back before talking to him about this. No, I realize that we've got to hurry. Alan's neck swayed. Now that he was full, he seemed to have been hit by a wave of drowsiness. It may have been a side effect of the oral medicine prescribed by the doctor just now. Anyway, let's leave the rest for tomorrow. As for tonight, get some sleep, Alan. Even I'd like some time to digest the miracle of you waking up. Sorry, Yuki, I'll sleep. The moment he said that, his breathing growing deeper, he was already asleep. However, he wore the expression of a peaceful, sleeping child with a full stomach. Yuki gently pulled a blanket over him. No, stay with me, please. Then she looked up at the ceiling and thanked God, the God she believed in. In the heavens far beyond that ceiling, she truly felt as though something like an angel had blessed her. Surely when faced with the blessings of a real angel, the evil deeds of a fallen angel would be blown away. Alan and Yuji miraculously recovered. If there really was an angel in City 23, it must have been smiling that night.